The United States and China are locked in a standoff, where two nuclear-armed rivals depend entirely on one another to survive. You cannot cleanly sever the ties between Washington and Beijing. Their technological ecosystems rely on the same microchips, their financial markets are woven together, and their supply chains move trillions of dollars in goods across the same oceans. In this environment, a traditional military victory is impossible. A direct great power conflict would immediately shatter international finance, disrupt global food supplies, and collapse the trade networks that keep the modern world functioning. The dominant models of statecraft struggle to address this. Realism, where power governs everything, invites mutual destruction. Meanwhile, idealism assumes shared values can overcome conflict, a view that often fails to account for hostile, competing ideologies. Jamie Thornberry's ontological foreign policy provides a third way. It begins beneath politics and interests, grounding diplomacy in the objective nature of reality itself. Surviving the 21st century requires moving past theories built on raw power or sentiment. Instead, statesmanship must be built on an accurate perception of the world as it is. The first pillar of this framework is light. This principle suggests that before rivals can negotiate policy, they must first acknowledge a shared reality. International crises often escalate when states react to national myths and propaganda. They begin reacting to imagined intentions and ideological narratives rather than objective facts. To counter this, Thornberry proposes epistemic red teams, intelligence units tasked with separating a rival's ideological rhetoric from their material behavior. This makes information integrity a hard security requirement. Protecting the public from manufactured narratives is the primary safeguard against collapsing mutual deterrence. In this framework, truth is not a diplomatic luxury. It is the necessary strategic baseline to prevent accidental, catastrophic escalation. The second pillar is love, derived from the classical concept of ordo amoris, or ordered affections. It insists that nations must value their interests in a specific hierarchy. Under this order, power is never the supreme good. It acts as a servant to higher priorities, like truth, justice, peace, and citizen welfare. Disordered priorities create instability. When a state treats power as its highest good, every treaty becomes a temporary convenience, every neighbor a future enemy. Strategy then shifts towards a means-ends policy matrix. This prioritizes de-risking, strengthening domestic industry and infrastructure while maintaining productive, non-exploitative exchange with rivals. By ordering national priorities correctly, a state avoids the catastrophic error of seeking the total economic destruction of a nuclear-armed rival just to project dominance. The final pillar is life. This frames the goal of statecraft as preserving the conditions under which human civilizations can achieve productive excellence and flourish. This framework employs the concept of privation to understand conflict. It suggests that war and tyranny are not the presence of strength, but the absence of ordered relationships and justice. This shift in perspective alters diplomatic objectives. Instead of focusing on defeating enemies, the goal is to restore the specific order that has been lost. This results in order-restoring deterrence. Military assets, like a destroyer on the open ocean, are deployed strictly to uphold international law and cure a privation of sovereignty, rather than to provoke a conflict. Strategic victory is not found in mutual destruction. It is found in curing the absence of order so that long-term global stability can take root. Adopting an ontological foreign policy requires an overhaul of how we measure geopolitical success. Success is no longer found in pure GDP dominance or the number of overseas military bases. Instead, we measure the resilience of international norms and the reduction of human rights abuses. This requires a statesman's curriculum. Future diplomats must be trained in classical philosophy and ethics, learning to identify the underlying nature of a conflict rather than just reacting to its symptoms. Lasting peace cannot be secured by power or sentiment alone. The deepest task of statecraft is to preserve the ontological conditions under which truth, justice, and human flourishing can endure.